as we have in earlier sessions, begin with a brief statement from Coach Jacobson, then take questions for the student athletes, and then return with questions for Coach.
Thanks. This game wasn't a lot different than our game on Saturday from the standpoint of with 2.5 or 3 minutes left, it was a one-possession game, and at our place on Saturday, they had a couple open threes that didn't go in, and we had the one at the top that Jake had that was really, really close to going in. That would have given us the lead, and I think in either case, the games could have flipped. And then the other aspect, Carmichael was in a little bit of foul trouble tonight, but he was obviously more of a factor in this game. At the same time, we were challenged heavily a couple of times in this game, early to start the game, and then again in the second half. And like these guys have always done, they responded heavily and mightily, and made sure we had a chance to win. So I'm proud of them for that in this basketball game.
Questions for Mark Sonnen and Jay Cook, please raise your hand, identify yourself and your affiliation, and direct your question. On the right.
Carson Tigas, Waterloo Courier. Mark, I don't expect you to take this well. Just kind of talk about the sting of having to take a bus ride home tomorrow.
It hurts, and when you put all your effort into it and everything, everything you got, just like our team does every single night we go out there. It really hurts really bad. But you got to give credit to them. They played a really good game. But just gotta hopefully we can keep playing, and that's gonna be determined later on. But I thought we fought hard when we got challenged, like Coach Jake said, and I thought guys responded really well and stuck with it. Even when they were hitting a lot of shots and they were playing so well at the beginning. I feel good about how our guys stuck with it. But it hurts deep down. Especially being last time ever playing down here. It's one of the it sucks, but you got to live with it and you got to move on. These are the type of things in life I think you respond to, how you're going to go about it. And, I think we got to keep staying positive with each other and keep staying together. Hopefully we can keep playing, together and, finish out the good year on a good note.
Other questions for Mark and Jake here on the left in the middle.
Mark, two things. What goes through your mind when you see Tyler Brown come out and hit some of the shots that he hit right away? And then how did you guys, ride that out and get that 15-point lead down to, tied before the end of the half?
He's a really good player. He can do so many things, and it's something that he's going to hit tough shots, but you got to keep keeping your head up and keep staying with it no matter what, because he's going to take a lot of shots. But, he hit some big time shots for him, and he's got to. It's something that you got to keep staying with it no matter what. You can't get down on yourself, and you can't just shy away from that. You have to rise up to the challenge. But he stepped up and hit shots, and I tried my best to stop him, but he obviously made some big plays. Sorry, what was the second question? Oh, leadership and teamwork, and I think staying together is a big thing. Somebody, when they went on that big run in the first half, a lot of teams can fall, and, it's kind of be like, oh, they're hitting shots, we give up. But I felt like we kept staying with it and kept using the leadership we have and, just focusing and being confident that we can keep cutting the lead and getting stops and, stepping up, and guys were stepping up, making shots and doing anything we can do to, keep cutting into that lead. And I thought we did a really good job in the first half and the second half when they went on a little run too.
Other question is on the right.
Jake, Brown hit those big shots early, then he hit a couple ones late, I guess, and you guys just couldn't really seem to get anything to fall late. How much was that just a difference in the game? Them made a few shots, you guys missed a few.
Jake, why don't you try that one?
Like Coach Jake said, this was a lot like the second time we played them at our place. The difference was they made shots. We couldn't capitalize, couldn't get a stop. Like Mark said, Brown's a good player. Could have done some things differently with, as me personally, stepping out on ball screens, hedging more, getting my hands up. He's a good player.
Mark, any additional thought?
Just basically what he said too. He's such a good player, and he does so many good things that you just got to keep staying with it. But, he did the same thing in the first game. But, big players make big plays, and I thought he did a good job for their team. And, it's something that you just got to keep staying with what we do as our defense. And, he hit big-time shots. And sometimes there's not a lot you can do when a guy has got it hot. And, you just got to keep staying with it and keep doing what you've been doing all game.
Perhaps one last question for our student athletes? Gentlemen, thank you for your time and attention. Congratulations on your year to this point. You're free to return to your locker room.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach Jacobson. Again, show of hands. Second row on the right.
Jake, just how much was it just kind of spending so much gas playing from behind the whole game? You just didn't have enough there at the end.
I was worried about that toward the end of the first half, maybe three-quarters of the way through the first half. When we had the lead, did we have the lead at half? One?
Yes.
Yeah. When we had the lead at half, and then we came out and we scored early in the second half, I thought we'd be okay, Carson. But through the first three quarters of the first half, I was very concerned about having to play Mark the entire time, having to play some guys with 2 fouls, just having to keep our most experienced guys on the floor and our best scoring unit on the floor because we were behind. And I felt like that might catch up to us, but we're early in the second half and we got, we scored a couple times. I thought we would be okay from that point on. When we got down 10 in the second half, I didn't feel like that was necessarily a factor that we had to fight back. That's the reason we got down 10 again, I guess.
Other questions? Show of hands. Middle row on the left.
Ben, Tyler came out and hit 4 threes in the first 5 minutes, and then you guys kind of quieted him down a little bit. Then at the end of the game, he gets loose for 2 big jump shots. I mean, did you feel like your defense was okay there and he was just hitting big shots, or how'd you view that?
Yeah. I think the one he made in front of our bench was a long ways out. That one, that's okay. And the one he shot opposite our bench seemed to be a long ways out as well. And that one, okay. The other 2, I don't know that we guarded him well enough. And I don't think they were the first 2 and the second 2. I don't know the order of them, but 2 of the 4 he made I thought were, okay. And 2 of them we didn't defend quite well enough. From that point on, he didn't score a lot the last 10 minutes of the first half, and he didn't score much the first 15 minutes of the second half. But give him credit for making the 2. The 2 he made at the end were difficult shots, heavily contested, especially the second of the 2, the 15-footer over Seth. That was a tough shot. So give him credit for making those 2.
Any other questions? Again, second row on the right.
I'm sure you're expecting to play some more basketball this year. Just what are your thoughts on next week to 10 days?
Yeah, I think the performance the guys have put in, Carson, gets us either in the NIT or an awfully serious look at it as we go through the next week. I think everybody would agree with that. I think finishing by ourselves in third in the 9th best league in the country and wins over the 2 teams that are first and second. A win over St. Mary's, who's looking like an NCAA tournament team. And we, other than our loss at Southern Illinois, there aren't any. We have no losses that are. We've got 1 the whole year, and that was a road game. That's really outside of the top 100 by much. Illinois State maybe just outside the top 100, and Evansville at 100. So that non-conference strength of schedule is inside the top 15, and so we went out and did what we were supposed to do from that standpoint, from a scheduling standpoint, and we're 7-3 in our last 10. We're playing really good basketball. So my feeling is that we'll get an invite to the NIT or serious consideration as they're making those decisions over the next week. And if that doesn't happen, then we would look at one of the other 2 tournaments.
Perhaps one final question for Coach Jacobson, again on the left.
Ben, you won this tournament in 09 and 10. Obviously, now the last 3 years you've gone home 1 and done. I mean, do you feel like there's a big difference in the quality of those teams, or does it just kind of show you what a fine line there is between winning and losing down here?
I didn't catch the first part, Mark. You won up to 9 and 10. Okay. Yeah, I think the fine line certainly comes into play. Like I said, the game tonight, there were some differences throughout the game, but the bottom line is at the end they missed the 2 open threes, and tonight, Jake missed the 1 at the top, and if theirs going at our place, maybe a different ending, and if Jake's goes in here tonight, maybe a different ending, maybe not. So I think more that fine line. Now 2 years ago after Luke got hurt, we weren't experienced enough up front to, you always think you're going to win when you come down here, and we certainly thought we were. Looking back on it, without Luke, that was going to be hard. So that was an injury, I think, that hurt us 2 years ago. And last year, Deion and Seth being freshmen, this is when you play your first game and you're key guys, sometimes that can be tough. And those two guys didn't play their best last year, and that hurt us. So I think some different reasons with this year, last year, and 2 years ago. Tonight, we were healthy, had an experienced team, and we got beat by a team that played a little better than we did. So I think it's more the fine line. If you finish if you're playing Friday, if you're finishing the top six, it's a pretty fine line with games, especially with the 4-5 and the 3-6 games, and got to make the right plays. And they got to some loose balls in the second half. They got a couple offensive rebounds, and they made a couple plays at the end. It is a very thin line, yep. And they deserve credit for winning the game tonight. They got themselves on the right side of the thin line. Yep.
Coach, thank you so much. Appreciate your time and attention.
Yep,
Congratulations on your year.
Thank you.